Hey guys, it's been such a long time since I actually posted anything. I'm just jumping on to, say Happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day in the UK today. My daughter and husband are currently out at the moment at his mother's. So yeah, so I thought I'd have an opportunity to do a little video. I'm just going to quickly talk about my weight loss journey that I've had. A lot of people are probably thinking, oh god, she's taking the easy way out, but that's like far from the truth. Basically, I've had a lot of problems growing up, and my body, obviously as I've got older, I've put on quite a lot of weight, and that's down to emotional eating. So I suffer from PTSD, and if you don't know what that is, that's post-traumatic stress disorder. And I eat if I'm emotional. I'll eat, and it could be any emotion really. I have an eating disorder. Just because I've had this weight loss surgery doesn't mean to say this eating disorder has completely disappeared, because it really hasn't. So yeah, as I was growing up, I used to have really bad problems with my bones, aches and pains. This was when I was younger. I used to have a lot of abuse from school, some from family members, basically saying how fat I was. If I don't stop eating, I'm going to be the size of a house. And that's really took its toll on my body because of the emotional eating, and mentally as well. So yeah, you can imagine, as a young child growing up hearing all that constantly, and from family as well, it really does, affect you. So that's where my eating disorder started. My nanny used to always provide me with sweets, things like that, chocolates, crisps on a weekend, because they never really got to see me very much. So I used to think, oh, yum, 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 sweets, crisps, and I used to just eat it because I thought, well, I can eat it, because why not? Who doesn't love chocolates, cookies and crisps and sweets? So as I got older, I just piled on the pounds, piled them on. I suffered really bad mentally. I was always upset because I used to think, it's time for me to start losing weight. I've done Slimming World, I did Weight Watchers, you name it. I took pills, injections, absolutely everything as I was getting older in my teen years. Nothing ever really worked. Well, I say it didn't work. It actually did work. I'd probably lose about 2 stone. But then I'd think to myself, well, I'd hit sort of like a brick wall, and I'd think to myself, I'm not shifting any weight, and I'd get really upset about it. So guess what I did? I ate. I found comfort in food, and I basically put it all back on. So I went to the doctors, and they gave me these tablets. I just felt like every time I went to the doctors, it was like they'd always fob me off with tablets. It'd be like, oh, it's just another fat person, who wants to, waste NHS's time, waste NHS's money. So I just felt really quite alone. Never really had friends tell me how big I got. It'd always be, I'd look in the mirror and I'd think, oh my God, there was a point in life where, unfortunately, I got really low. I just didn't want to be on the earth anymore, and that's really sad to say. There's a lot of stigma about overweight people. You instantly think that they're unhealthy, they're fat because they eat over the recommended calories. And yeah, that is true, they do eat over the recommended calories, but there's so many things that you don't understand why these people are big. It's like when someone walks down the street and they're quite, a large person, the first thing that some people think is they start judging. They just think, oh my God, look at the size of them. They don't actually see, well, first of all, are they okay? Is there something wrong medically as to why they actually put on the weight? Because I do know that some medications put on weight, like a lot of weight. This can go from, from something small to something that they have to take every single day. The depression, anxiety, mental health. mental health as well, that plays a massive part in things. So there is all sorts. So, you know, I really beg you that if you see someone who is quite large and overweight, don't just assume, oh, they've just ate, you know, so much that they've blown up, and, you know, that's not the case at all. There's always a reason why people have eating disorders. So please don't ever judge. So going back to my story, yeah, so I went to the doctors, got these tablets, I think I lost about 1.5 stone, 2 stone, something like that. Put it all back on. I had an abusive ex-partner, and he didn't help, obviously, with my mental side of things. I ended up leaving him because I knew something wasn't right in the relationship. So yeah, so I ended up leaving when I was 20, my dad's house, and I moved in with some work friends. And I've got to tell you, that was probably one of the best 1.5 years in my life. Then, obviously not now, then. I'm talking in the past. I forgot about how I looked. I forgot about, you know, how social media made people think that they weren't normal. I just enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed myself. I lived with really good friends. Unfortunately, a few of them I don't really talk to anymore, which is disheartening because I absolutely adored every single one of them. They really helped me mentally. I went out about 4 times a week, but it wasn't just purely to drink. I really enjoyed the atmosphere, the fact I could be myself, and I didn't worry about my weight. I didn't worry about the way I looked. I didn't worry about any of that, and that was amazing. The feeling I had from that was just, I can't put it into words. It was euphoric. It was really, really something that I needed mentally. As time went on, I did go up and down mentally. I suffer from body dysmorphia. If you don't know what body dysmorphia is, it's basically you look in a mirror and you look at yourself and you don't recognise the person looking back at you. You don't appreciate the person looking back at you, and that to this day is something that I'm still working on. I found my husband, who obviously I'm currently married to. We just bonded straight away. He made me feel as though I was the only person on this planet. I was perfect in every single way, but still I had these demons that, you know what, I'm not perfect, and you know what, I'm not actually perfect. And this is the misconception, is no one is perfect. You don't have to be perfect to live in society. You are you. You are one person, and you can be whoever the hell you want to be. Don't go by society. Don't go by social media. You are an individual, and you shine that individuality to everybody. You're strong. You be who you want to be. And I kind of took this upon myself to, you know what, yeah, I am loved, you know, someone loves me, and it was a really good feeling. So I made the decision to move. So I actually moved in with my then boyfriend, which is my husband now, and the romance, the love, everything just shone. But again, there was still my demons that I was trying to fight. And it was a really, really big battle. Once you're comfortable in a relationship, everyone can probably appreciate this, who's been in a relationship. Once you're comfortable, you don't really necessarily need to make that effort, or you don't feel as though you need to put makeup on, you know, watch your weight, things like that. So that's natural. So I did put on a few stone. Now, my eating disorder obviously was still there, and I'd get upset. I'd always weigh myself. I'd always think, oh God, you know, I really need to lose weight. And I did successfully, but then I'd put it on again. And for years and years and years, I'd really struggled. So, talking about the weight loss surgery, I think it was probably about 1.5 to 2 years ago now, I was at the end of my tether. I feel like, or I felt like I was in a stage where mentally I can't do this anymore. I'm 34 years, I was 32 at the time. I really can't do this anymore. I had a daughter, you know, she's growing up. So if anyone's got kids, you'll know that they want to run around everywhere and they want to be picked up. And my back really suffered. I had an accident when I was younger and I slipped and fell and really hurt my back. And ever since then, for years, I've always had problems. So my weight contributes to that back pain. It's not all about the weight, absolutely not, because I actually did hurt myself really bad. But the weight does contribute to it. So when people just say, oh no, it's just because you're fat. But that's not the case. The case is I hurt my back. And there was some things that I physically couldn't do. Exercise, I really hurt. But I still went to the gym. I still did other things. I still picked my daughter up. I still did things that hurt me. Because to myself, I felt as though, you know what, I'm not going to be defeated. And I still tried and I still succeeded. But them demons in my mind were telling me I weren't good enough. Unfortunately, I had to be put on antidepressants because of this. And I'm still currently on antidepressants. And then you know what? I'm not ashamed of that. I need some help. So I went to the doctors and I sat there and I sobbed. I sobbed and I said, for years I have really struggled. I just need some help. So instead of fobbing me off this time, she actually listened. She said, the only thing that I will say is that if you want to see a dietitian for some help, you need to go through weight loss surgery. Now, because I'm in the UK, I don't know what it's like in America or in any other country, as a matter of fact. So I found that to be quite absurd. I mean, please, I'm not slating the NHS whatsoever. The NHS have been very good to my family. They've been good to every single being on this planet. Well, I say on the planet, in the UK. That's soft, in the UK. You know, so it was just the fact that I just think that there should be something other than privately that you can go and get some help on the NHS. I didn't have enough money to go privately. I had a family to feed. I wasn't earning enough, so I couldn't afford that amount of money just for someone to tell me what to eat, because I already know. I know what to eat. I know how many calories I should be having. I know what to do. You know, just because I'm overweight doesn't mean to say I haven't got a clue. This is the misconception that everyone thinks. Everyone thinks because you're overweight, you haven't got a clue. You're just fat and you just eat. That's it. But that's not it at all. There's a lot more that goes on behind closed doors. So yeah, so I thought, you know what? Let's just say yes. I wasn't there to actually have weight loss, to decide to have weight loss surgery. I was there to get the help that I needed, and mentally as well. They decided to up my antidepressants to see how I went with that as well. And I went for counselling, not so much for my eating, but for other stuff. Yes, it helped massively, and I cannot thank my counsellor enough. She really helped me. To this day, actually, she helped me that much, and it really affected my life that I've actually, I am actually on the path to becoming a counsellor myself. But I will be making a story about this, and I will be discussing a few little things in another video, completely separate. So I decided to go along with it. I had letters for appointments. I went to see a dietitianist, a nutritionist. I never saw a psychologist, which they did say that I'd see, and I didn't see a psychologist. So Even to this day, I'm still a little bit baffled as to why I didn't. And to be honest, at that time, I didn't question it either. So yeah, so I had all the appointments, and then I decided one day, I was sat talking to my husband, and I just thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for weight loss surgery. It's not something that I was actually on the path to having. I weighed up all the pros and the cons. There was more pros than cons. I decided, you know what? I've taken so many risks in my life and I've never had surgery. Why not do it? So yeah, made the decision and I just carried on. Got my appointment date for my surgery. Had to do a liver shrinking diet, so that obviously means you're only allowed a certain amount of calories to shrink your liver, because when they go in to operate, your liver as an overweight person is very large and that masks your stomach inside. So it'll be so difficult for the actual surgeon to get in to cut your stomach. So I had to go on that for 4 weeks because of my high BMI. As soon as it came round to the day, COVID hit, and it was disheartening, but the world was in a pandemic, so that was the last thing on my mind, the weight loss surgery. So, as you can imagine, my eating disorder cropped up, and I'm not making excuses constantly. Mentally, this is how it is. This is what I'm being honest. I'm being completely honest. So I decided, yeah, you know what? And you know what I did? I actually went for a Chinese. And you're probably sitting there laughing your heads off thinking, oh, here she goes again. You know, the fat girl's going. But that's not how. I was so upset. But it was something that was out of my control. Unfortunately, my demons, when I thought that they were quiet for some time, no, they came back up. Brought the eating disorder back alive like a volcano. And yeah, so surprisingly I didn't actually put any weight on. I think I probably put a couple of pounds on, that was it. So I was quite proud of myself. I still ate healthy, I still exercised, I do a lot of yoga, I'm trying to do more meditation, and then I got a phone call to say, you know, your surgery is back on track. So I was ecstatic. So I had to go back through the whole liver shrinking diet again, and this time I actually went in for the surgery. I was so happy. So I went in, you know, it was scary. There was a few times when my daughter actually said she doesn't want me to change. Basically, she thought I was going to go into hospital as mommy and I wasn't going to come back out as mommy. I was going to be a different person, as in a different appearance and everything. So I had to try and tell her that wasn't the case. I'm still going to be tubby mommy. I'm still going to have a belly, but my tummy inside is going to be smaller and I'm going to gradually lose more weight so mommy can run around, play, do a lot more than what bigger mommy, you know, could have done. And she was really happy with that. Had my surgery, and the first day I was hurting a little bit, not too much, but I was hurting. It was surreal. It was surreal. I did it. I couldn't believe I did it. I'm on a group on Facebook, and what they say is, oh, I'm on the losers bench. I don't really like that term, because that suggests you're a loser. You're not a winner for going for weight loss surgery. So I don't really like that term. We're all winners at the end of the day. So yeah, so as of today, I have lost 5 stone. It's been just over 3 months and I'm absolutely ecstatic. Touch wood, I've been, you know, doing really, really well. I've been exercising as much as I can, you know, obviously because we're still in lockdown. I've been doing yoga, I've been meditating, I've been trying to do a lot of self-love as well. So yeah guys, so this is just obviously a little bit to say, if it's something that you really think that you need to do, do it. Don't be ashamed. Okay, so I'm probably going to jump on and talk a little bit more about things as we go along in the future, but hey, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'd really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Thank you.